really upset decision.
Like you just mentioned there, the IOC says that they took this decision to keep sports a neutral ground, and yet it seems that the opposite has happened. Now this is what everyone is talking about in regards to Milano Cortina Winter Games. They're not talking about the sport, they're talking about this. Do you think that's embarrassing for the IOC?
I don't want to make this appraisal of actions. Yeah, I think this is it was a wrong decision because it's a misinterpretation of Article 50. It's a misinterpretation of Olympic values, because you can't be in other planet. What it mean you should be neutral? How you can be neutral when somebody kill your friends? What can you be neutral when these athletes in helmets, which were depicted in the helmet of Vladyslav, never will have a chance again to be in Olympic Games, but maybe they wanted to. It was good athletes. But when all of the world, all falling apart, and you know, for Ukrainian people, it's reality, everyday reality. You can be killed every day, because only today, now it's afternoon time, yeah, but only today we have a 2 rocket attack on Kyiv. This is reality, and we are the European capital, and then we have a 2 attack only this day, and it's how you can be neutral.
You obviously have a background as an athlete, as a bodybuilder, I believe, so you know about the integrity, sporting integrity, level playing field, keeping the competition fair. Do you think it's cowardly how the IOC have behaved?
No, I'm sure. Can you repeat? I'm not.
By not taking a position, by trying to stay neutral, would you describe that as cowardly?
I think it's irresponsible, because I believe that sports it's a very influential part of social life. The big sports leader, as the president of International Olympic Committee, the presidents of international sports associations, it's big leaders, very influential leaders. They must make their donation to this peace process. They must feel their responsibilities, because this is it's a huge audience. Sports have a lot of people who join the sport, who practice sport, who are a fan of athletes, who look at the sports movement, and it's really influential sphere, and the leaders must feel their responsibility for international order, which now violating by Russia, and which ruin all values, which very important for existing of sports movement now.
So you would say that an organization like the IRC is duty bound, it has a responsibility to take a position and not be neutral?
I think yes, all international sports organization should feel their responsibility. And now, for example, I want to maybe to explain a little bit more. 4 years ago, where this full-scale invasion started, the all sports organization is ban Russian athletes, ban Russian organizations. It was a total condemnation. Now we have 4 years of war. Nothing changed. Became even worse. At least before, they didn't hit our power planes. Now they can't win in a battlefield, and they start to fight with our women and kids in peaceful cities, because it's -20. The numbers of pneumonia is rising up this winter. It's our women and kids. They hit our electricity stations, and we have more than 1,500 flats without any heating, in -20 frozen. So, what's changed? Why you start support Russia? Why you start talking about softened this position? What happened? What's changed? What's the reason of these decisions?
FIFA President Gianni Infantino said that precisely because nothing changed, that's why he has entered talks for Russia to compete again in international football. You describe those comments as irresponsible and infantile?
Yeah, it's very controversial statement, isn't? Nothing changes, but everybody condemned it. This is a very important part of international pressure on Russia, on aggressor. Maybe it can push it more quick to ceasefire. But I don't know why now nothing changes. So let's shake their hands, okay? Let's imagine that nothing happened. Where the logic is?
And last Friday at the opening ceremony in Milan, Kirsty Coventry said that we are a sports organization. That means keeping sport and neutral grounds where every athlete can compete freely, regardless of political divisions of their governments. That comment was welcomed by members of the Russian IOC member Shamil Tapashev, who said that relations have improved significantly with the IOC in recent years. How would you respond?
How you can, it's how you can provide and develop the equality in sport, for example, for Ukrainians now. Every day our athletes dying. More than 800 infrastructure facilities is destroyed. More than 650 our athletes was killed. We can't even to think about normal preparation. I'll be honest, because average, I always thought that average numbers of sleep in Ukraine now in Kiev, maybe it's from 3 to 5 hours per night. How you can make some preparation? How you can restore your conditions? It's impossible. And the words that we should provide the values of equality, of peace. You can't keep it in reality. So you must make some decision. You must have some position for this for these values.
How were Kirsty Coventry's comments at the opening ceremony interpreted back home in Ukraine, and what do you make of the prospect of Russia competing at the next Olympics in 2028 in Los Angeles?
We think the international sport community shouldn't allow the Russian athletes who is agents of Russian propaganda. It's very important part of Russian power. The international sports organization shouldn't allow it to competition until the aggressor didn't stop. We need to push on them that, and international sports community must and can influence on it, because international sports organizations have a power. Sports have a very powerful influencers, opinion leaders. It's very important that all of the world to condemn this aggression, they stop killing people in independent, modern European country. And then maybe they can became again a part of international community.
We still have a lot of medal opportunities for the Ukrainian team. We have Kirill Marsak in men's figure skating tomorrow. We have the luge team relay today, biathlon next week. Are there any ways that Ukrainian athletes can show solidarity with their teammate?
How they can show solidarity?
How can they show solidarity without also being disqualified from the games?
I don't think they don't make any propaganda again. They don't, as a Vladyslav, we believe they don't. It was not a good decision. But our other athletes not making propaganda. I don't know why it can be decision to disqualify them. to support Vladyslav. It's a very controversial position.
And lastly, there is precedent for moments like this at the Olympic Games, black spots on the history of the Olympics, where the IOC has been seen as being on the wrong side of history. Most notably, 1968 Summer Olympics in Mexico, when two U.S. sprinters, Tommy Smith and John Carlos, raised black fist gloves to protest racial injustice in the United States. Will this moment be remembered like that moment is, as essentially the IOC being on the wrong side of history?
It's difficult to compare. Yeah. It's even difficult to compare because Vladyslav not make some protest even. Yeah, he make just commemoration. It's not they don't. He don't even to talk something against coming back Russia in sport on this arena. He has this position, of course. He's very active in everyday life. But now it was signed not against something. It's not a protest. It's just commemoration. And how if our teams here only because of they lost their life, how we can forget them? How we can betray them? How we can betray their memory?
The IOC said today that Vladyslav was allowed to wear the helmet before and after the actual competition, the 1 minute of the skeleton race. How do you respond to that he still had the opportunity to wear the helmet in the mixed zone in press conferences and interviews?
I don't know. I don't know. I think Vlad on right position. It would be not just and it would be unjust position. Yeah, it would be some, I don't know, some wrong compromise that you forgot about your friends which died and make some backstep, yeah, on it. How you can make backstep if you talk about the principal thing about principal thing for you?
It would have been a betrayal to everyone back home. It would have been a betrayal to his fellow athletes.
Yeah, I think it would be seems as a betrayal.
Thank you very much.